Now, what is it? I know time is limited, but what is it about the Biden administration constant escalation of war with Russia? Hearing Vladimir Putin saying that any transfer of F-16s would be taken as a nuclear threat, and yet now all in the news they're talking about speeding up training and even after speeding up the training, immediately deploying or transferring the F-16s to Ukraine. I mean, is this a death wish or is this insanity?
Well, death wishes are by definition insanity, so it's both. Look, the Biden administration makes no sense because if you recall early on, they were saying, providing tanks was a red line because that could lead to World War III.
Mm-hmm.
The F-16 fighters that are going to be provided come from Denmark and the Netherlands. The Dutch F-16s are part of the NATO nuclear sharing program. That is, the United States has B-61 thermonuclear bombs, about 100 of them deployed at 5 locations throughout Europe. These bombs are allocated to nuclear-capable aircraft of 5 nations. I think it's, let me get my Turkey, Italy, Belgium, the Netherlands, and the 5th one, Germany. There we go. And so the aircraft that they have, in the case of the Netherlands, the F-16s, are what we call dual capable aircraft. They can deliver conventional munitions, but they have been configured because remember, a nuclear bomb has safety devices, PAL devices, that basically prevent an accidental detonation, and the airplane has to be configured for that to deal with that, and also for the launch codes for the input to activate the weapon, all these things, and then because it's a lofted bomb, you have to have a nuclear site, you have to have so the airplane is configured. Now, the Russians, the United States can say, well, we're going to strip all that out of the, and they will. Trust me, not going to put that stuff in an airplane. It can fall in the hands of the Russians, but they will strip it out. But from the Russian perspective, how do they know? How do they know? You got an F-16 here that can deliver a nuclear bomb, and you're going to give that F-16 to the Ukrainians who say they want a nuclear bomb. We have a right to believe that every time that plane takes off, it could be carrying a nuclear bomb. That's what the Russians are saying, that this is an escalation. But we can't be passive about this. We can't say, oh, go ahead and do that. It's no big deal. We'll just shoot it down anyways. Well, they're going to shoot it down anyways. It doesn't matter. But from the Russian perspective, you have to put the marker down because this is a dangerous precedent. You're transferring nuclear-capable aircraft from nations that are part of a nuclear sharing agreement to nations that aren't part of a nuclear sharing agreement. And the Russians have a right to ask the question. Why the Biden administration is doing is purely domestic politics. First of all, these aircraft are old. The reason why the Ukrainians are getting them isn't that Denmark and the Netherlands suddenly woke up and went, we're really bad about what happened in Ukraine. Here, we have our new F-16s. No, what the Netherlands actually said is, yeah, we'd like to give them to you, but we got another year's worth of on the warranty. And when that warranty expires and it becomes a piece of junk that we can no longer fly, we'll give it to you. That's sort of like you looking at grandpa's, El Torino and going, and I want that car, 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 I want that. Finally, grandpa goes, took it to the shop, and they said, well, the transmission's shot, everything's shot, brakes are shot, suspension's shot, won't pass inspection. And grandpa goes, you can have it now. Gee, grandpa, I can't drive it. I have to fix it. It doesn't work. That's what's happened. We're giving the Ukrainians the equivalent of grandpa's old, Gran Torino that no longer. They're horrible aircraft. They're maintenance nightmares. They're only training a handful of pilots. I think the number is 6. To do what? The F-16 is a multi-role fighter. What that means is that it can do air to ground, and it can do a specialized kind of air to ground called suppression of enemy air defense. It does all things pretty well if you have the right equipment and you have pilots that can fly it. But the pilots have to be trained. It takes a long time to train these pilots. It's not just getting out of flight school. It means you have to take them and you have to run them through a tactics course, multiple tactics courses. They have to go through realistic training. It takes years to train an F-16 pilot to do any one of these roles. Which one are the Ukrainians going to do? The Russians right now have fighter aircraft in the sky that aren't being threatened at all. One of the roles of these F-16s to become an air superiority fighter, go out and chase the Russian airplanes away. It takes a special kind of training. The Ukrainians aren't going to receive that kind of training because they don't have enough time. The Ukrainians are going to be taught to take off, fly level, turn left, turn right, climb, down, landing gear down, land. You're certified. Take it off again. Okay, now push the button. You just fired an air-to-air missile. You're an ace. Land. Okay, now he's going to take off, and the Russians are going to go get this warning, this thing. You've been painted radar. What do I do? Now, if you're trained, school trained, he'd fly into it, he'd execute a split S maneuver, try and outmaneuver it to get away and run. Chaff flare, chaff flare, chaff flare. Let's go. But he's going to go, what do I do? About the third time he asks himself what he does, bam, he's dead. That's going to happen to every single one of them. They don't know what to do. Let's say they want him to be air to ground. Again, that's different. If you train them with the load, I mean, because, flying an airplane with, and just so people out there understand this, I'm not just speaking out my butt, guys. I was what they call God, I forgot what I was called, forward air controller. I flew in the backseat of these airplanes, not a pilot, but I understand what an airplane. So you can take off with a clean airplane. That means you're not carrying anything, and you can sit there and you can, oh man, it's great to fly. You start strapping stuff on the airplane, and it weighs you down, drag coefficient, and now you're like flying like a slug. Imagine being in a sports car. You're in a sports car and you got nothing in there but you. It's handling, turning great. Now you put the blonde in there and all her baggage in the back because you're going to Vegas. You can't maneuver that car like you were. You're driving a little bit slower because there's a lot of weight in that car. That's it. Now you're flying the F-16 that's going to Vegas. Bombs on it and all that stuff. If you're not used to flying that, you're going to stall. Bad things are going to happen. Now you have to deliver that munition to the ground. How are you delivering it? What's your profile? Are you going to be doing a laser guided delivery? That means you have to be trained on the lantern system. I don't think getting the lantern system. We went to technology for the Ukrainians because we don't really like the Ukrainians. We don't give them weapons that can actually help them to win. We give them stuff that makes us look good, makes them die. Think of the Leopard tank, the M2 Bradley. Looks good, they're dead. That's what's going to happen with F-16. Looks good in the F-16. I mean, he'll get his picture taken. Hi, I'm a Ukrainian ace. Top gun, helmet, scarf, in there, takes off, shot down, dies. How are they going to deliver? Is he going to do dumb bomb delivery? Probably what he's going to do. So that means you got to fly a specific profile. But while you're doing that, the enemy air defense is going to try and shoot you down. Now, what makes our F-16s work is our guys who know how to fly these profiles are coming in while other F-16s are suppressing the enemy air defense. But that's a whole different game. That means you send somebody out there who does, the decoy, the radar's on, you have another team pop up, fire their anti-radiation missiles in there, have other teams come in, throw cluster bombs down, and you suppress the enemy air defense so you can bomb the target on the ground. Different skill set. Which one are we training the Ukrainians to do? Because we can't train them for what we're training them to do. None of those. They're taking off, they're landing. That's it. They're all going to die.